Well, it's Saturday and it's early, so that can only mean one thing. It is a cars and coffee morning. Time to get the E30 fired up and ready to go. Well, I've made it to the event and been given a team media pass. Got a good spot. I always like with the car facing this way. In the mornings it gets better light for photos. You always know there's something up when they take the hood off. It's got a lot of engine and a lot of turbo stuffed in this little truck. So I really didn't notice this as I was walking by, but then watching back the footage, so much more detail in this painting on the hood that I really didn't pick up. Good looking Evo. Normally you don't see too many of these. It seems like in the Tri-Cities there's a bunch running around. Never really understood these little figurines that lean up against some cars. Especially these newer ones, newer Camaros. Typically see it on older muscle car guys. If you have an air tank and you don't sticker bomb it, do you really even have an air tank? Supra. This guy comes to a lot of shows. I always like how clean it is. Gives me flashbacks to attending H2OI in Ocean City before it was ruined. I do like these Alpha sedans. Not sure I would buy one if I had the money for it, but for what they are, I think they look good. Now this was my favorite of the day. Don't really know too much of what was done to it, but you can definitely tell a lot has been done. Now we're in the area that has some of the collector cars that are going to be going up for auction later in October. Good mix of muscle cars and trucks. I like this 1940s truck. It's not perfect, nowhere near, but it definitely looks like it could be a fun driver, and you wouldn't feel too bad about taking it out all the time.
Registrations, and last I checked yesterday afternoon, so there's still room for about 90 subs to get a sweet code
and check it out.
They put the big dollar machines up front. This Superbird was restored in 2012 before going to Barrett-Jackson, where it sold for $297,000. I think it had 20-some thousand miles on it when it was restored, so not a lot of drive time. Could only imagine what it's going to bring at this auction. Official entry from a Winter Nationals in the 70s. Really like to believe that that is an original sticker on this car, and it's been driven all over the country. I always like Panteras. Can't go wrong with one of these. Don't know too much about this, but the guy definitely drives it all over the place. Crazy GTR with some interesting vinyl wrap. I think it always looks cool though. clean looking S13. This i8 was recently rewrapped in this green. I think it looks good. It has a lot more, I think, pop to the color. Got a lot of engine stuffed in here. And the first one that I know of, the first R34 in our area. It'll be cool to see how many more of these come in and kind of what different modifications they'll all have. Well, that just about wraps up today's event. Good turnout, a lot of new cars, definitely. Some new favorites showing up. It's good to start to see some of the auction preview for the big estate auction that's coming up here in October. The ITB's definitely confused a few people. Time to close up the hood and head on home.